after the resurrection, after their Savior, the Messiah, was killed, something happened that turned their lives upside down and never once denied it. And that fact was that on the third day he was raised from the dead, and he appeared to them with all kinds of convincing evidence and proofs, they said, that he'd been raised from the dead for 40 days. When I was going into law school, my hero was Dr. Simon Greenleaf. He was the famous Royal Professor of Law for years at Harvard University, one of the great legal minds of our country. He was a man that could break down a testimony in a court of law. In fact, the joke used to be, he was so persuasive he could take someone who was telling the truth and make them think they're telling a lie. And he was a non-believer. And some of the students in his classes one time challenged him to take his, he did 3 volumes on the laws of legal evidence and how to evaluate testimony. They challenged him to take that and apply the same principles to the resurrection. After much persuasion from his students, he did that, and in the process, it looks like he became a believer. And he went on to write a book called The Examination of the Testimony of the 4 Evangelists. And Dr. Simon Greenleaf said this: "The annals of military warfare afford scarcely an example of their heroic constancy, patient, and unflinching courage." Meaning the apostles, they had every possible motive to review carefully the ground of their faith and the evidence of the great facts and truths they asserted. And yet they became martyrs. That night in the university, I was all alone. It's when I knew I was going to become a Christian. I knew I was going to come to the point of trusting Christ as Savior and Lord. I didn't right then, but I knew I was going to. It's that night I was alone. I spent so much time studying the Scriptures and the resurrection. Even though I was all alone, right out loud, I said, "He is risen. He is risen. He is risen." If Christ had not been raised from the dead, then what happened to the lives of the apostles that turned their lives upside down? Could a lie have accomplished that? Then if it did, then a lie accomplished more courage, more boldness, and more truth than the truth ever has. I've read all the great thinkers. I've read all the thinkers that think they're great. And I've concluded not one of them has ever come close to satisfying my intellectual curiosity. If Christ wasn't raised from the dead, then what impacted the lives of the apostles and became the very formation, the basis for the formation of the church? He is risen. I can hold the New Testament in my hand and say what I have is what was written down, has not been changed, and what was written down was true. Jesus said this, and Jesus did this.